get started with our event tonight, creating a virtual calm classroom with Kasa. I'm so excited about this because you get like the best of, mindful tools in a virtual world is where we're moving. So much fun. I just want you guys to know a little bit about Anne. Maybe some of you already know, and for those that don't, you're definitely going to know more now. Anne Kasa has been a classroom teacher and reading specialist, literacy coach, and is currently an instructional technology coach with the Learning Technology Center in Illinois. She creates professional development opportunities that embed cooperative SEL, social emotional learning. I like that. Cooperative social emotional learning for adults and children alike. She also creates workshops for educators outside of the school day. She was fortunate to be introduced to SEL while teaching in a tribes school where she was provided the basic and artistry tribes TLC training. She was a facilitator for the character education certification program with North Central College. And she's also an SEL certified educator through Mindful Practices and a certified SEL facilitator and registered yoga teacher at 200 hours from Breathe for Change. And she's going to walk us through all the tools that we need to create a virtual calm classroom. And welcome. I'm so excited to have you here for you to be showing us these awesome tools.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And thank you for coming live, or thank you for watching the recording. I'm always here. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I'll show you. I'm going to share my screen real quick here.
Awesome.
Here is all my contact information. So if you'd like to follow along, here's the bit.ly. And you also have my email address on there and my Twitter account. So feel free at any time to jump in the presentation. Feel free after the presentation to send me a message. I'm always here for you.
All right, perfect. I don't see the Twitter handle.
Oh no.
But I can put it in the chat, or you know what? Let's go ahead and do that really quick. So if somebody just wants to write down your Twitter handle so they can connect with you on
Perfect.
Twitter. And then I'll also put that in the chat, but I'm going to write it down first so I don't forget.
It's at Kasa, AN05. That's my Twitter. And then
Kasa, AN05.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. And I'm going to put that in the chat. Yeah. Oh, look.
I already got it.
Yay.
And there's my email too. It's kasa@an05@gmail.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And so feel free anytime, come off mute, ask questions. Please play along. That makes it a lot more fun.
Yep.
So today we're talking about creating a virtual calm space. Thank you, Kasa, for inviting me here. I am Ann Kasa. I am one of their board members. So much fun.
Yay.
And like you said, I'm an instructional technology coach for the Learning Technology Center in Illinois. I work for 2 different school districts, and we have a blast with using technology in the classroom, bringing SEL into it, mindfulness into it. A little bit about me. Like you said, I have some endorsements. I'm in the Leaders for Just Schools coalition. And then I also do the tech side. So I have a nice balance of social justice, SEL, mindfulness, and the technology swing.
And I see all those mountains too. So you're a mountain lover.
Yes, I love mountains and beaches. But
I love that. I'm also a mountain lover. And I just want to clarify that I think I did not pronounce your last name correctly. Say it again for me.
Kasa.
Kasa. I said Kasa. Kasa.
Oh, don't worry. You know, the best one I've ever gotten was Kasa. That's my favorite.
Kasa.
Yes.
And Kasa.
That's me.
All right. We got it now. All right.
Perfect. Because it's my husband. We love to travel together, and my cats are always ready to do yoga with me.
Aw, that's sweet.
One thing I like to think about here is I know we were talking before this started about the coming back after Christmas for winter break and just having all kinds of decisions that need to be made, like boom, 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 boom in our day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't feel very mindful. And so I like to take this moment and honor that all we do throughout the day and take just like a big inhale
Mm.
and then exhale whenever you're ready. Another big cleansing inhale and exhaling when you're ready. And one more time, let's make it the deepest inhale of the day. My back just cracked on that one. And exhaling when you feel like you're ready. And then come on back, fluttering those eyes open. Thank you just for centering in and pushing everything else to the side for right now. We talk a lot about multitasking and how people find it to be so important to multitask. Ooh, it's like a job requirement. You must multitask. And it's like, okay, whew, we got that down if we're all in the educational field. I wanted to talk a little bit about single tasking. Mindful or mindful. This one's been out there for a while. But again, just reminding ourselves to take a moment to single task. So I invite you to either take out a pen and paper, or you can just take your finger and you can put it right down on your lap or on a book next to you. We're going to do what's called a mindful line drawing. This is something I use in a lot of classrooms as a settling in technique. I learned it at Breathe for Change in our program. And what this does, it helps us come to a single task in our mind and get ourselves settled in. So like I said, a pen or piece of paper or your finger, just on whatever surface is next to you. We're going to take 1 minute with this timer. And we're just going to have a couple rules. Once the pen hits the paper, it keeps moving and the line cannot cross itself. So the line keeps moving and it does not cross itself. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Wonderful. Let's go ahead and put that pen to paper for a minute.
We can start, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. And those that are listening on audio, because this will eventually go on my podcast, Mindful Living with Athea Davis. We are just line drawing. So if you're listening in the car or on the walk, you can just pause here and do your line drawing when you get to a place where you can sit and join in. Just a couple minutes here.
Thank you. You can go ahead and lift your pen. How did that feel while you were making your line drawing?
Well, I don't know about others, Emily. Maybe Barb, you can mention in the chat or certainly come off mute. But for me, I just felt like finally I could just do one thing. And it was so nice just to pinpoint my attention on drawing a line and really focusing on not crossing any lines. It just felt chillax.
Beautiful. And when do you think would be a great time for you to use this during the school day?
I definitely feel like between like big transitions, like for me, like personally, right before I've just, I've been doing and moving and grooving, and I might need a moment just to release everything from like phase 1 of the day before I go into phase 2 or 3, and just take a couple minutes just to decompress. For me
Love it.
personally. Anybody else? What do you think? You can write in the chat or just come off mute. No, no one wants to share tonight.
That's
All
okay.
right, we're gonna call on you guys soon. All right. But even when you're listening, you're not live and you're listening to this, really like that's such a great reflection question on thinking about and being intentional about this practice when you can use it. And I know, Anne, you're gonna have some great tips on like suggestions on when you can use this throughout the school day. So I'll let you take the floor here.
Yeah, one of my favorite times to use it is right before an assessment. That way we
Mm.
have we have our bodies settled, so we put ourselves in a nice physical space, and then to get ourselves ready, breathing in, do our mindful line drawing, and then we continue on. We can go right into an assessment, right into maybe a more intense discussion topic that's coming, getting
Mhm.
everybody present and in the room and together. We show our line drawing, see how each one looks a little bit different, and then we go right to work. I really like it to break up, especially in an elementary classroom. If you have, if you have ELA and then you have science, then you have math, it's all in the same room. So there's no breakup. This is one way we can do that.
That's
And I also
awesome.
have it in a calm corner. So that way the students can do that. They have a minute timer whenever they want.
Is there how would they know, like in a calm corner, is there an example that they would see, like an exemplar, or would they just know the tool before they went over there because they practiced it?
Oh, we'll practice it together. And also Mindful Practices is a group out of Chicago. They have this mindful line drawing. They have a 1 minute MOOCA on YouTube where there's different calm down strategies and settling in strategies that they have, and you can have a QR code on the wall and the kids can scan it and it can pop up that 1 minute mindful line drawing that Mindful Practices has out there with MOOCA.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I have it later on too. I'll show you what that video looks like.
Yeah, sounds good. I love the before assessment idea too. That's a great use of this.
Absolutely. Gets because the mind can get a little rattled. So getting the kids in their best
Yeah.
headspace ready to go. So today we have a few goals that where together we'll provide learners opportunities with self-awareness and self-management skills. We're going to open communication and we're going to create situations where students, they're going to just move from that consumer to being producers. So many times we just say, oh, here's this, go to this website, go to do this. Here we're going to get them creating. But it takes a minute. So I'm going to show you how to get them there. We're familiar with CASEL and the CASEL competencies. When you do come to this bit.ly link on the side, or if you decide, I can put the link to the presentation in the chat later. This is a clickable link where it will take you to the CASEL framework where you can learn more about any one of these rings. It's an interactive model that they have on their website. So today we're going to be focusing on these orange ones, that self-awareness and that self-management piece, along with that mindfulness. So keeping our SEL very mindful based. And it all starts with a Google form. We use Google Forms to collect data a lot of times.
Mhm.
And some of the biggest and most important pieces of information that we can collect from students is how their day is going right at the start of the day. So I know a lot of people have to check the mood at the door if you're using thoughtful classrooms, or some kind of way that they're checking in, showing their teacher, maybe they flip a green or red coin on their desk. This is one way to do this digitally. You
Mhm.
can have a QR code up for the little ones to scan with an iPad, where it just has the same link, the same form all year long. They just keep re-entering it. I've seen teachers put it up in their Google Classroom as the very top link under a topic of check-in, and the kids just go there. They get to the habit of every day going to that one place to find it. And so what they do with this Google form is they will fill out and answer questions about how their day started, what it looks like, to build that piece of communication with you. And then once they fill in that form, at the end, there's a little pop-up. Have you ever seen that at the end of a Google form where it says, oh, thank you for filling out this form?
Mhm.
And that text is very editable. And so what I do at the end of the form is I take that text out and I copy in the link to wherever I want a student to go next. And that way that student can go straight to something else. And what I put at the end of this form is a slide deck with energizers or cool down techniques.
Okay, cool. I'm not even sure I've seen that edible text on, I use Google Forms all the time. And maybe I've just never noticed that you could edit the text. What age group do you use this for? I imagine it's an older group. I mean, with a QR code, if you have iPads, accessibility, I can see the younger ones being able to do like, choosing pictures in terms of mood checkers, etc. But I'm curious with, I tend to think this might be for a little bit older group, older elementary, middle school, etc.
It can be used with kindergartners, especially if you have the extension called Moat, because
Okay.
they can then record their voice. And they can answer those questions with voice recordings, and you can just have pictures up. And if you're combining it with what you're doing every day in the classroom, you can have pictures of things that just represent what they see on a daily basis
Well,
anyway.
that's interesting because not everybody may know that that extension is available. So that's good to point out. So it would be an extension within the Google form called Moat.
Called Moat. We call it freemium. You get 20 recordings a month for free per account. And so
Okay.
you have to check with your school district to make and see if they need to push it out or if it's something
Yeah.
that can be added on their own, but it's an extension Moat, M-O-T-E. So
Very
that
cool.
helps makes forms accessible even to our littlest ones.
Awesome. I love that. I learned something new. I didn't know about Moat.
It's a good one. I like that one a lot. So this is what the form looks like when the students go there. And this one is, I went with the middle of the road, probably third, fourth grade class that I would use with this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just good morning, welcome. They fill in their names and they'll say, is there something you'd like to talk with me about right away? Yes or no. If they click yes, I've taken, because every Google form is attached to a sheet that
Yeah.
collects all the data. So I have conditional formatted that sheet to pop up and highlight blue if someone says, yes, please. That means they need me right now. So every morning I'm checking this as kids are coming in, doing lunch count, this is getting filled in. And if I see a blue highlight pop up, I'm going straight to that student because
That
that's
sounds like another skill we need to conditionally format because I don't think everybody knows how to do that.
it's definitely super easy. I can show everybody later on.
That's pretty cool. Is this something, can you share the form for those that maybe want a template on using this kind of check-in form with their students?
Absolutely. Everything is linked inside of the presentation, and I'll share that presentation later that has
Awesome.
all of
Sounds
those
great.
links.
Oh, yay. Look at all these
Excuse me.
awesome resources. Thank you, Anne. This is great.
You're welcome. And since I have Moat installed, see these little circles here with
Yes.
them? That's what it would look like for little kids. Or sorry, I need some water.
No worries. That means I need some hot tea now.
So that's how the kids would click and they would record their answer.
Okay, cool.
Excuse me. And so, like I said, I have it formatted where, yes, that'll highlight in blue. Doesn't have to be formatted. You can just take a look. And if you see that yes in that column, then you know.
Yeah.
Is there something you'd like to let me know about and have me check in later? And here they can say, yes, just so you know, I'm kind of hungry today. I just needed you to know that. Or, yeah, I left my math homework at home and I'm a little stressed out about it. So it's not an emergency that needs to be tackled right now, but it's something they want me to know.
Yeah.
And then they'll check their mood. They're ready. They're a little bit overstimulated or they're unengaged. And so we have talked about all three of these choices previously before they're filling this out on their own.
Yeah.
But again, they're filling out the same form every day as they go. And then once they submit it, they will be taken to this slideshow. They'll make a copy. And then once it opens, it's let's start the day off right. And now they've already self-assessed. Either they're overstimulated or they're a little underwhelmed at the moment.
Yeah.
And so if you need some energy to start the day, try one of these. If you need to calm down, try one of these. So for instance, that calm down activity, it's linked here. As this opens up, it'll show you, I made a link from a calm video on YouTube. So this will just kind of, they'll breathe through it. It's a 30-second link, and then they're going to go back to their day. So they walk in the door, they do their lunch count, you're taking attendance, they're filling in that form, they hit submit on the form, you're collecting that data, and then they're either decompressing or energizing.
I love this. This is awesome.
So a choice over here, let's say they need to energize. This is a favorite. Again, I use Safe YouTube to put a video link here, so they're not going to be getting any kind of ads or anything. They won't be able to go to any other part of YouTube, but they can watch this roller coaster from the front row. And they really seem to like this one. So this is going to boost their spirits a little bit. They'll have their headphones on, of course, but
That's fun.
so again, that's what it looks like when you finish a video using the Safe YouTube link generator.
Sweet.
Then I have a third slide here. This one's really important. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Buddha board, but a Buddha board is something that you can paint with water on. Anything that's kind of bothering you or you don't really want to keep in your mind. And then as the water evaporates, the image disappears.
Yeah.
This is something like that, where they can type anything they need to get out. And remember, they made a copy of this. This is their own. I will not see this unless they share it with me.
Right.
So they type anything they may need to get out, like life stinks. I'm really mad. Guess what? I'm 13 and things are hard, and then they can delete it. And it's very cathartic. That way they can, if they need to get it out there, they can. It's
like a stream of consciousness journal practice. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
And it's up to them. If they want me to see it, they can share it with me. If not, they just backspace and they get rid of it. So this part I don't see, but they get to do.
Yeah.
But this form, everything they put on the form, that's put into that sheet. And I'll show you that in a minute. And all of that is collected there, which is very helpful if you are collecting RTI data.
Yeah.
Any kind of data that you need, where if someone is constantly feeling down. So maybe if you have like a DESA or a DECA that you're doing for SEL assessments, you will have something here. And if something big gets put in here, we have a date, time stamped, and we can bring that straight to a counselor or social worker in the building if we need to find someone for more help than we can give. And the students
that's awesome.
already know that anything they put in here follows the same thing, that it's not secret. If they say something where I think they need help, they know I will go get them help.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And I love Google Form for that reason. It's a great data collector.
Yeah, it's marvelous. I love the way that it all comes together. So I'm going to give you the chance to try this out. I'm going to throw it in the chat. So please go ahead and click that link.
All right. And then for those that are listening right now, on audio, you're going to get access to this on the Kasa member site. And these will be linked within the presentation, right, Anne?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, and if you're, and then you can play around with this later.
So please go ahead and click on that link. Please enter whatever you'd like in the form. You don't have to bare your soul. Thank you, any of that stuff. And then once you get to the end of the form, you'll see where that pop-up is, where you can make a copy of that slide deck.
Okay. So right now we're just filling out the chicken form. You do this during like homeroom or intervention or like morning circle, correct?
And if you're teaching upper grades, it can be to start every class session.
Start of the class session. And how long do you usually allot for this? I mean, I imagine it might take a little bit of time just to get the systems in place, but once you've established that, how long does this process usually take?
Just a few minutes, just so answering a couple questions and however long the kids take to watch their energizers or cool downs, and then they're ready to go.
Okay, awesome. I'm making a copy now of the slides.
Wonderful. And so when you're in there, you can check there's 4 links in there, 2 to cool down and 2 to energize.
Right.
And I leave it like that just for a couple, maybe like the first week or so. So everything's the same every time they do it. But then I start, which we're going to lead into with the next part of our session today, having them adding links, because what calms one person doesn't always calm another. And what energizes one person doesn't always energize another. So we have to honor that.
Right.
And then we have whole class discussions on, okay, what mellows you out? What do you want to hear when you're having a tough day? And we ask that when we're in a neutral headspace. So that way, when we go, we're going to know what to do. And so we'll actually make little mantra cards, and the teacher can have them on a binder ring. And if that student is struggling or getting a little crunchy forehead, you can leave that on their table or on their chair and or say the words they want to hear. And so just having those conversations, get them, again, that self-awareness and self-management piece going hand in hand, as many opportunities as possible. And then reflecting, okay, how did that work for you? Is there a different sentence that would have worked better at that moment? So we prepare before in a neutral headspace. When we need it, we have it. And then after, we have to reflect on it. So there always has to be that part where, did that work for you? How well did it work for you? What could have worked better? And that way
Are these mantra cards something that you've created, something that the students contribute with what they're putting on their slides over time? How do you make the mantra cards?
That's paper. That's gonna be an index card.
So just an index card paper, and you're collecting them from students from what they put on the slides, or do you have them do like a separate activity of writing like a mantra on an index card?
That's a separate, like probably day 1 of school activity. And that way we have that all year long.
Okay, got it. So day 1, the class contributes to making that mantra stack. And anytime you see someone that might need a little more positive self-talk, you just hand them that little book.
And but I hand them their card because they each make
their card. I see. You collect them at the end.
Right. Well, and they will have one of theirs, but they're going to lose that one maybe.
Yeah.
So I always have a set.
But I also like the idea of having a book. And if somebody wants to use one other than theirs, they might be inspired or empowered from what someone else is saying. They can flip through and find the one they need in the moment.
I think it also depends on how vulnerable they're being with it. Like if it's something that they don't want shared, maybe we can put like,
if they've said, like, hey, I'm totally fine with sharing this openly. And if not, I guess you would have that separate, and they would only use that for themselves when they need it.
You can make a little wall, like a bulletin board. Definitely.
Lots of great ideas.
So I said I would show you, the step-by-steps. So how to do this. So this right here, almost every image you see is a link. So if you clicked on this link, it's going to take you, this is an editable version of that form. You can see we have 30 responses up here. So this is what it looks like to put your questions in. And again, you can add, if you would rather have images, I can change that. If I go to Google Images, I can type yes, which would give me a thumbs up. One of these things, and we can show like, this is what you would choose if you want to say yes to this question. So there's many ways that we can make it adaptable for kids who, whatever needs that they may have. Now, the place where I go to change that automatically pre-filled line is here under settings. And I'm going to go to presentation. And right here where it says confirmation message, that's where I type in and I put the link.
The link for them to copy the slide deck.
Correct. So that's
Awesome.
where I'll hit edit, type it in, and then it's there.
Very cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do because, like I said, it can always take them to the next thing. Even if it's not just this mindful check-in piece, it could be a quiz that they're taking. And then maybe once they finish and they submit their quiz, now they have a video link to something funny, a funny cartoon, something that can make them just giggle a little bit, or some relaxation music, or wherever you want them to go next. So this is one time in Google where you do have to hit that save button. Usually we don't have to, but once you change
Don't
it,
forget on that one, because if you really want them to go make that copy or listen to the calm, chillax music, make sure you hit save. Yep.
100%. So I hit save, and then just so you know, when I want to do that to make a forced copy, so I have this slide deck here. See all this gobbledygook up at the top?
Yeah.
I'm going to backspace all the way. See how this word edit is here?
Yeah.
I'm going to backspace all of these. I call it gobbledygook. And I'm going to just type the word copy. And this is the link that I'll put.
Ah.
That'll make that a forced copy, like you did when you had to hit OK.
Yeah.
Make your own copy. So that's one little side trick for you.
A little side trick. Take the, and those that eventually will see this, that you go all the way back to where it says edit and you actually type in the word copy. Then you paste that link with the word copy and it'll force you to make the copy so it doesn't mess with your original document.
So if I've copied, I paste. And you
There
get
you
to make it.
go.
Now remember, if you have someone make a copy, you're not going to see the responses. It
Right.
becomes completely theirs.
Awesome trick. I like that.
So that's it. It's really just that simple of adding that little piece at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, simple isn't always easy.
Yeah.
But here is the why. We went over the how and the what, the who, the why. This is from a 6th grade class. These are all things that we got told that they wanted us to know. And look at the power that that brought to us.
Mm.
What 6th grade girl wants to stand up in front of a class and say, I'm on my 1 week period? So if I have to go to the bathroom, that's why. Because
Or a lot, that's why. Yeah.
Right. Because in that classroom, there is a number of passes that you can use throughout the day. And so this child was nervous that if she keeps asking for passes, then their teacher's going to make a big deal, like, oh, why are you going out there so much? And
Yeah.
so look at all the embarrassment that saved and the trust that built between that teacher and that student.
Mm.
And so, and even the other ones, I didn't have enough sleep. So if I don't raise my hand, can you please not pick me? Yeah. That's awesome to know. They want to participate. They are listening, but they want to be able to raise their hand.
Yeah, I love that. I love the the ability to get that kind of intimate information and feedback that it's so hard to do in a public space in the classroom, just like you're saying, who wants to raise their hand and say that?
Right.
But there's that ability to share some of this information because they know that you're just seeing that one-on-one.
It's great. I mean, it really gave us some wonderful information. And again, almost every image you see in here is a link. So you'll be able to see this. This is a copy. So their name would have been here. But this is what I mean by I turned it blue.
Oh, yeah. So you can immediately see they need your attention. And how do you do that in the form so it's immediately like obvious that someone needs your attention?
I'm going to go here to format.
Mm-hmm.
And then conditional formatting. And so it's applying to whatever column that I have selected. See how I have it over here?
Yeah.
So, but let's see, I want to go to column C1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so now format cells if text contains yes. And then I pick what color I want it to turn,
I see.
and then I click done. And so
Okay.
anything that says yes will light up in this color.
Awesome. Well, that's a great trick too.
I'll show you again. That's under format, conditional formatting. Let's say we want to apply this to the one. So let's just say text contains. Yes. And so that way, when anybody types that in, it'll show up.
And you do this for the same Google sheet, right? Okay, I'm not sure I'm saying this right, but you have you use that same form, that same check-in form over and over and over again. So you're only conditioning this one Google sheet that attaches to that Google form. Okay.
Yeah, this is all that we've been seeing. So you can really see, because their names will be here. I can sort it by their names.
Yeah.
And so that way I would have like 20 Emilys right here. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
see, are they usually neutral? Can they be a bit overstimulated most of the time? Are they saying yes or no? So you can see this was over a bunch of time.
So you're not using a new form or the same form, but just a different copy on different days. You're just using the same form.
Same form, same link.
Same form, same link over multiple days, just collecting that data in one sheet over time.
Yeah, the full year.
Okay.
It's just
Got
all
it.
together.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing about it. We even did this when we were remote, because we couldn't have the kids like move stickers or something. So they would come here.
Right.
They'll always have access to it. Some of them can even fill it in over break and check in with you. You can tell them, I'm not going to be checking this every day over break, just in case they do say, I need you. But sometimes they may want to have some sense of normalcy.
Right.
But how sweet are they? No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the conditional formatting where you color coded it, especially if you're using the same form every day over the entire school year or semester. I guess you can do it multiple ways, and you can, based on how you want to use this tool. But I can see the benefit of using the same form because all the data is in one sheet. It is a lot, but it's all in one sheet. And then that immediate pop of color, when you're looking at it as they submit their information, who to go have those one-on-ones with when you can do that throughout the day.
And that's what it looks like when the rule's in place.
Okay, got it. Very cool.
So we got there. Here are some virtual calm spaces. So like I said, when I get that slide deck at the end, and that gets them started to thinking about a virtual calm space, the energizers, the cool downs. Now we can come in and play with some of these bigger ones. We can use Google Sites or Slides. So this one was made on Google Slides by a group of teachers that I was teaching a mindfulness for education course, and they gave me permission to share. So again, this link is in there. You'll be able to get to every piece of this. Don't you worry.
Yay, more resources. Yes.
It gives you as a teacher directions on how to implement this in your class if you would like. Steps to get it going. And then it goes through all different types of calming techniques. If somebody likes to get calmed by music, there's something for that. Visual relaxation, different mindfulness pieces, creativity. There's a lot in here, and you can even add something. But this is one way that we got kids to try different things, because they may not know what calms them. They may think, oh, this sounds cool. And they try it and they're like, oh, that made me feel icky inside. I'm like, great, now you know that.
Well, so Anne, would they have access to all the links like on this slide, so then they could create their own slide deck, their own virtual calm space, and like cater it to themselves?
Well, this is the part where they're still being consumers, where we hand them
I
this and
see.
they're going to find out and explore what calms them.
So this is okay. So phase one is like, hey, here's a virtual calm space exploration that you can use. And they might have a given amount of minutes, say 3 to 5, and they can pick one of the slides and play around with I'm going to listen to music or maybe a visual relaxation.
Absolutely.
And then you're kind of scaffolding in the direction of where they're going to build their own eventually, or
100%.
yeah. So I'm thinking, like 3rd grade and up or something like this, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe some
Yeah.
second graders could do it. I
Yeah.
think so.
True, depending on, yeah. So you have to go with, where your students are, but okay.
And so this just helps them. The main goal of this one is to have them learn what does calm them and what doesn't.
Yeah. And they have that exploration themselves. So they're learning and discovering. Yeah.
Right.
And a great engagement tool too, because not only are they learning self-regulation and management skills, but they're also practicing technology at the same time.
Exactly. Best of both worlds.
Yeah. 2 things you love, Anne.
The both of them. And so these are linked in here.
Very fun. I love that. That's a great resource. So yeah, like anybody that is not seeing this yet, like again, if you're just on audio and eventually you're going to see this video, wow, that is just, I think there were only like 4 or 5 slides, but those 4 or 5 slides are packed with multiple links, very visual. So you see the visual, the image, you can click on the link, and very cool. Like it's immediately you're able to implement that. You could just use those slides and share with your students, allowing them that space to explore what works for them. And there are just so many ways I can see this happening. And you could do it in the morning. You could give them 3 to 5 minutes. You could do it, during transition, end of the day. You can really tailor it to whatever works for you in your schedule. You would create your own norms and agreements around that and set your timer for what you have available in your class, and then give them time to explore those options.
It's great addition to a calm corner, because there's usually a calm corner in a classroom. And if a kid's already in there, or if the child doesn't want to get up and show people that they're going to the calm corner, they could just pull up their tab and they could have a recording of a parent's voice, a loved one's voice, a dog's bark that they love. They could have pictures. And this part is where we're turning into the producers. So you can see this is something that I did with students. This is that Zen space. This is one Google slide where we chose a background that we would like, things we like to have in here. So this is my Zen space. I have my little speaker over here that's attached, and I linked that to one of my favorite little chill out songs. So anytime I want to hear that, that's in that room.
If you sleep on your side, I bet you hate your pillow.
See, and that's why I like to do the safe YouTube. I didn't do it for this one. It'll skip those.
Yeah, the ads. No worries. But I love the fun with the backgrounds and furniture and those type of things.
And I added all of those just on a simple slide. So if I were to come up here to insert, I can insert images. So I can upload them from the computer. I can search the web. I can take a picture of myself right now. I can insert any of these things on here. And that's how I created all of it.
So did you just search like Zen background spaces or something like that? Was that the search term or phrase that you used?
What I did, I choose an image for the background. I'm going to choose an image. And from there, I can type in yoga studio. I could type in beach scene. I had the students who put in a full basketball court. So whatever you want to put in there, but say yoga. This one, yep, there it is. That's the one that I chose. And that just took over the whole background.
Okay, cool. And then how about the furniture? Does it lay on top of the background that you choose in the slide? And you just, again, choose a different image?
So to the background, I go here to background. For inserting images, I come to insert images here, search the web, and I can do that.
Like a chillax chair, beach chair.
My little lotus flower, got a kitty cat, Zen meditation pillow, salt lamp.
Very
You know.
cool. And then each of those objects you can link, right, to like a resource.
And this here is a video that I made on Loom explaining how to create it. So you guys will get that too.
So that's in the slide. Which part in the picture do you click to get all the instructions on creating this in a Google slide?
That's the big click here button.
Oh, okay. The obvious one. Okay, very cool. Look at that. That's a super handy tool.
All kinds of little Easter eggs.
Oh my God. Everybody in the world needs to watch and learn from this, Anne. This is super awesome.
And so here, the next one, I'm just going to show you a few samples that students have made. I have a friend, Stacy, that I work with. She's amazing. These are some of her.
Oh, that's cute.
samples. So
and just like different backgrounds, right? She put pictures. She just created a whole awesome space. That looks like she found like just like a living background or something.
Yep. They've got the Zen music.
Oh, with the TV on the wall. Ha. Cute.
And they can actually take you out to the YouTube station where that is.
Oh, nice. With some nice visuals, calming visuals, very satisfying visuals, as my son would say.
Yes. And this one's completely different.
Oh my goodness.
That's why we talk about, you have to know what calms you. Like some people, you're going to have bare, very minimalist, or other people, they want their stuff, and they want it bare, and everything's going to have links. So they all look very different, but they're also personal, which is why it takes a minute to get here. We start with that self-assessment, head into the self-management, try out some calming tools, and then we create our own.
So this would not be something you would start with right away. You would start with, for instance, the slides that you shared with all those resources, so they can learn what music that really resonates or what movement. And they do that for a while in any part of the class day, morning, transition, before you're going to leave. Again, you find the time that works for you, like 3 to 5 minutes. And then you're working up to, like, this seems more project oriented, that you'd work on this over time. When is a time that you would recommend for classroom teachers to work on this?
You can make it morning work. It can be whenever if they finish something early, they can come to their calm space and work on it. It can change. They can decorate it for the holidays. It's ever flowing.
So it's like a work in progress kind of thing. I like that you can decorate it depending on the season and time of year, holidays, etc. How long do you give them to create the space? Do you plan out maybe over like 5 times that they're going to get this allotment of time to at least get the initial foundation set up, and then these other times where they might finish work early, or you have extra time after a lesson and they have that option to go to their virtual comm space and work on it?
I usually start it where we just one class period. I will give the directions. I'll show my example because they have that video in there. Remember that, so they'll be able to come back to that. They're not going to need me very much after then when they have that video, they'll be able to fast forward to the different parts that they want to try. And they're so savvy. They know how to do all this stuff, especially when we get to the older kids. And so it's really only once that we do it together, and then they're off on their own with it.
Okay. And how long do you usually allot for that one time that you're doing this together?
About 40-45 minutes.
Okay. So it sounds like maybe a good lesson, like have time for a good, maybe you have time, many times throughout the day, just depending on the class, but maybe you have, especially in primary, you have, SEL time. Any body teaching electives can definitely incorporate this. Any elective, honestly, can incorporate this as a lesson into their curriculum that they're using. I could also see this being done by, even core content teachers, over a period of time, you can take 5 to 10 minutes, and this would be your mindful activity. And over a period of time, eventually they have their room, and then they can just go to it when they need that calm moment. They just log into their computer and go to their own virtual classroom. That's awesome.
It's this one was I said Stacy Teft from down by Carbondale, where these kids are, made these
Very fun.
and I have one more resource. Again, this is a link, so if you click on this, it takes you a link straight to it. Common Sense Education. Common Sense Media is an amazing partnership, a group out there to find solid tech stuff to bring into the classroom. But
Yeah.
here they have it linked up to the Castle 5 in grade bands. So different ways that we can bring SEL into the classroom and use technology to support it.
I love this. And again, all these links are in your presentation that we will
Anytime
share, with everybody here. And then if you are watching this later on the Kasa member site, you'll get access to that link too, for sure, to access all of these.
It is a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/COSM-CALM. And the COSM is capitalized.
bit.ly/COSM
CALM.
COSM, one word, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, very cool. But that's on your presentation. I think you had that at the very beginning. Very cool. Thank you.
So I know we're wrapping up on time. I wanted to take just a moment here to settle out. We settled in.
Yeah.
So if you can just plant your feet on the ground, and then I know that you're going to talk about the micro credential, but I'm going to phase this piece out. If we can just planting our feet on the ground, finding a comfortable position, maybe closing the eyes, maybe finding a soft spot to gaze, thinking about how do you want to show up this week? What one word sums up what you need in order to show up that way? So how do you want to show up this week? And then what one word sums that up? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's a little bit of energy. And then just say that in your mind. And now that you have that word in your mind, can you just add the word I am in front of that word? Because you already are everything you need. The universe made you just as special as you are. They put you in this place right now. So it gave you everything you need to get through any challenge in your life. Please breathe in the word I am, and then add your word after. And then breathe out that word. Breathing in, I am. Breathing out your word. Send it to the universe. Thank it for giving it to you. One more time, breathing in, I am. Exhaling your word. And let's set this as our intention for the day, the week, the minute, as we close this down and focus on what is coming next. I invite you to flutter those eyes open, deepen that breath. And please know that you can reach out anytime with any questions, or if you want to share a success story with me, I love hearing those. Here's my information. You all are greatly appreciated. And I'm going to put the link to this presentation in the chat while you go ahead and talk about our next agenda items.
Thank you, Anne. You have been so incredibly just inspiring, super, as Barb says, informative. What a gem of a presentation, really making mindfulness tools relatable and accessible. I have someone coming in the waiting room a little late. I think, is it Heidi? I think it just popped up. I was so in tune with everything going on, but I'm pretty sure that just popped up. Oh, no, it's Heather. Heather, welcome. We're right at the end of the presentation, but please know that for our Kasa members, this will go into our resource library, and you can see and have access to this presentation anytime you log on to the Kasa site. If you are listening to this on audio through my podcast, Mindful Living with Thea Davis, you will also have access if you become a Kasa member on the resources site. But this has been such a gem. I really appreciate it. What incredible resources you've given us. And if you have not taken or heard anything about our micro-credential program, I just want to take just a few minutes to remind you. And also, before I dive in, if you have any questions or anything, comments, questions, thank you, Barb, for your comments. Please go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll look at them. We will answer them. And again, circling back to the micro-credential program, I encourage you to check that out on our Kasa site at educatingmindfully.org. We have so many great teachers and presenters in that program. It's been just over a year that we've had that micro-credential program in existence. It is packed with resources and expertise that will help you become a confident teacher implementing mindfulness tools in your classroom. So you may already feel confident in the content that you're teaching, but you have some questions on how to integrate and implement mindfulness-based SEL practices into your classroom. And this program will help you become confident, will give you access to a network of amazing presenters and teachers and experts and resources that will help you move along in your own journey within your school, within your district, town, city, etc. So definitely check that out. I know soon I will be sharing some infographics on our micro-credential program. So stay tuned to the member site for that information. And definitely, I know we said this in the beginning, make sure to give Anna a follow on Twitter at I want to make sure I pronounce this right, Kasa. At Kasa AN05. That's her Twitter handle, at Kasa AN05. And if you have any questions later, you can email her, Kasa. I think is it Kasa AN052 at gmail.com. So almost like the Twitter handle, but at gmail.com. And you can email her those questions. Anybody thoughts, wonderings, questions before we close out this evening? And I'll give just about 30 seconds. I would love to. I will also say, if you take any of these tools and you implement them in your classroom, please let me know. I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning because facilitating these events is still new for me. I'm Thea Davis. I'm on the operations team for the Coalition of Schools Educating Mindfully. I am the mindfulness leader and culture fellow at my campus here. I'm in Houston, Texas. I've been working with mindfulness in education for the past 10 years, maybe over a decade for sure. So longer than 10 years. And I'm always excited to see how people are incorporating these amazing practices that help our students cultivate the self-awareness and self-management skills that they need to truly be successful in the world today. I know that two of the top skills that so many employers are looking for are that emotional intelligence and cognitive flexibility. And we know from research that these tools of mindfulness-based SEL will help get them there, in addition to the content that they're learning in their education. And so if you want to connect, I'm at Thea Davis. I would love to connect with you guys on Twitter too, or Instagram, or all the places and spaces. And so if we haven't connected one-on-one like that, definitely let's connect online so we can continue to build the network of mindful educators across the US and across the world, because, that's how we spread the awesome sauce, the word, the light, with all of these connections and more voices out there talking and doing it. circling back, if you do add these resources in your classroom, I would love to know what you did and what worked. I'm sure Anne would love to know as well. So let me know what you did. That's why I was also introducing my handle. I can put it here, and I'm going to put my email address. So my handle really on any social media handle is at Athea Davis, and my email is at Athea Davis or Athea@AtheaDavis.com. I think because I have two, I also have one for COSM. It's grow at, you guys give me a second. I have like multiple email addresses and I should know what they are, but I also want to put this up so you guys know what it is as well. And I'm putting it up here now. Yep, grow educating mindfully. And you can reach me this way. I'm always looking to, since I coordinate and facilitate events, if you guys have any speakers in mind, definitely let me know that as well. So grow at, did I put that correctly? No, I did it. Educating mindfully. Here we go. Educatingmindfully.com. So you can connect with me there too, because I love listening and hearing these stories on how these tools worked, and it can inspire other teachers. Maybe you did it, tweaked it a different way, and somebody can say, oh, I like that you did that. You incorporated it this way, you chunked it out this way, you did one whole project. So please share your ideas. Looks like we don't have any questions. So if you do have questions later on, please reach out to Anne. You can also reach out to me. And you're such a gem. This has been great. I have been so filled with joy and awesome information. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that showed up tonight. Thank you. Have an amazing evening, and stay tuned for some events coming up. We have another event coming up, I should say really quickly, a self-care series at the end of January with Sharon Hahn, and we have some other events coming up in February. Don't want to overwhelm you with information, but stay tuned. We'd love to have you here at the events, and spread the word too with your other teacher friends and anybody that you think might be interested in incorporating mindfulness in schools. So thank you.